switch that over, share my screen here, and we are good to go. So welcome to the Daily Briefing. Mark, how are you?
Yeah, all good in the hood.
Yeah, so you were just saying that you're on lockdown now. I think everyone's on lockdown, aren't they?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we've got all 19 staff at home. Yeah, it's and doing calls like this and videos and clients over video now. So luckily we've got the platform that we can do that, so which is good.
Yeah, exactly. So how have your clients, well, I guess let's step back and just introduce yourself. That's great. We've already spoken on, we had a podcast together before, amazing, when we was in our old office. So we go a while back, but it'd be good just you can introduce yourself to the world. And then I'll let Kevin introduce himself to you also.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, it's Marc Sumner. I'm the MD of Robinson Sumner. We're an IT, tech, sales and marketing company. We've been going in the channel for 20 years. So that's from resellers, distributors, MSPs and vendors.
And so this week was your 20th birthday, right?
It was, yeah. I made our first. We actually opened in the February, but we actually got our first deal started in last week, 20 years ago. So see, I'm a lot older now than I was when I was 23 at the time. Then I'm 43 now.
It's an absolute veteran in the industry. So the reason I was really keen actually to get you on and discuss with you is I think if you've been through now what was looking like 2 recessions, right? Which is basically,
yeah.
And so I was really keen to get your opinion on how, obviously, first of all, running a recruitment business on lockdown, but also, what this recession resembles to the previous one, and if you have any sort of foresight, if you've got a magic crystal ball next to you anywhere there, because I think it's a super interesting time we're in, as we all know. But have you ever seen anything like this before in your life? You know what I mean? I think in life.
No, absolutely not. Obviously, I started in a recession in 2000, or just coming out of one, which was interesting. But I think it's always a good time to start a business in a recession because the expectations are quite low, and obviously you're trying to kick out. Obviously, 2008 was a tsunami because there was just no finance. There was no money swirling around. The companies when the Lehman Brothers went down and lockdown of funds traveling around the globe. It was very, very difficult for actually people to employ. This is very, very much different. A lot of companies are still doing pretty well. I recruit throughout the IT industry and most of them are having record months at the moment. The main challenge with it is actually getting people on board or getting people into interviews and actually getting people started. That is the challenge. I still think people are interested in seeing talent. I still think people are seeing it as a potential opportunity to view talent and interview and pipeline. It's just actually getting physically started. So things like this, we're suddenly interviewing remotely quite a lot now over our video platform and sharing it with our clients. And we're actually profiling roles over the video platform as well. So we're trying to be a bit more innovative than we were before. We still have the platform and we're still doing it, but there's very much more an appetite for doing that now. So I see it as challenging, but it's going to have to adapt pretty quickly because we're going to be forced into this situation. So I see, that people are going to have to go on interview and they're going to have to do it virtually. People are going to have to interview people, they're going to have to do it virtually. People are going to have to be onboarded, but they're going to have to do it virtually. And I think companies just aren't used to that at the moment, but I can see that narrative changing, over the next sort of coming weeks, because at the end of the day, I think the first couple of weeks was, actually, God, we're working from home, what are we doing? And now people are slowly actually getting realised, and this is potentially the new norm.
Yeah.
Or, we will get normality in terms of going to an office potentially, but, people aren't going to not go on interviews for 3 or 4 months, that's for sure. They're still going to have to go out there and try and get jobs. So that's the main difference is a lot of companies are doing well, but they physically can't get there or they physically can't onboard people. So that's what's interesting, very different from 2008.
So a lot of your companies are IT companies, so they're probably used to working from home. They're probably used to working from home, right? How have they found? Obviously, they're probably used to working from home. How have they found the techniques in interviewing people in a different light? Like now you do have to interview because you can't see people effectively. You can see them, but you can't really judge. Do you think you could judge them effectively in the same way as you could in person?
Not totally in the same way as person, but I do think you can see how they articulate themselves and how they answer their questions over obviously that platform. So, for instance, when we're interviewing people and screening from behalf of our clients, we might get 4 or 5 questions from them that they would typically ask maybe on their first interview or their phone screen. And obviously, you can see how they've answered those questions. Potentially, there's any shots they're giving, and also if they're actually interested in the actual company. So I think you can see that. The second point to your question was, how are companies adapting? IT companies are very used to this. Agile IT isn't unfamiliar to them. So they're very much used to working from home. It's business as usual for a lot of those companies. They're still used to interviewing over video conferencing and video screening. So it's not completely alien to them. What is alien to them is doing that second stage interview where they do meet face to face and converse and actually put a name to a face and make sure it's the right cultural fit. So that piece is very different. Offering someone for a second interview over the phone is challenging.
How are these companies working with, so let's say they are hiring, obviously, the onboarding. So what's the sort of new norm for onboarding now looking like then? Because obviously if we're on lockdown, then what's the new norm for it?
Virtual meetings like this, so we're having virtual onboarding sessions, looking at a schedule of interviews a schedule of training platforms. So it might be an induction and scheduled training over a 2 or 3 day period, and obviously he's having Zoom meetings or meetings like we have now with the onboarder or the trainer. At the end of the day, it's never going to replace face to face. Me and you went face to face, it was great. We had a couple of beers, fantastic. It won't replace that. But what it will do, the next best option is video. The next best option is this platform. And if people can adapt to that, which they're going to have to because they're forced to, they're either going to stop recruiting and stop looking at talent and pipelining and be behind the curve when we come out, or they're going to continue with the next best option, which is what we're doing right now.
So I was chatting, me and Kevin were chatting this week actually. We were talking about how during the first week, we were like, oh my God, what's going on, panic. And now I think people are starting to realise, actually, look, we need to hire. We still need to keep business going. We still need to push on our product roadmaps. We still need to sell stuff. And obviously, I think even today, I noticed on LinkedIn for the first time since sort of this happened, it was actually people posting out jobs instead of, keeping the jobs closed in because they thought these were like relics. Do you know what I mean? That we didn't want our competitors to get or whatever. So I've actually noticed today that people have started posting out jobs again in terms of saying, look, I'm hiring for this role, got this great role on now. Do you feel like that's echoing how you're feeling as a recruitment agency, in terms of what's going on in the market now, everyone's starting to push again?
No, to be honest with you. I don't think, just churning out jobs, etc., is probably the best way of being it. There's a lot of uncertainty out there with people putting on furlough. So talent attraction shouldn't be a problem at the moment. It really shouldn't. If you're struggling to attract talent when 50% of the country are put on furlough and everyone's a bit uncertain to what it is, and everyone's at home and everyone's on LinkedIn, everyone's looking at it. Yes, I don't mind people putting out jobs, no problem. But attracting candidates shouldn't be your issue. What could be an issue potentially is now attracting companies that are still looking at home working, that can adopt to onboarding, to look at actually still interviewing or are comfortable interviewing over the platform rather than just stamp out jobs. Yes, if you're retained by that client, obviously it's good to get that branding out there, but chucking out contingent jobs, potentially, I don't think it's the best idea. Yeah,
exactly. Look, Neil's joined the party now. So this is Neil. I don't know if you met Neil, Mark.
Neil.
That's super interesting the way you're putting that. I agree. And do you think there's going to be a lot of people in their furlough who are going to move jobs now then? So even though they're on furlough, they don't have to work, they're getting paid. Do you think they're going to move jobs and take this opportunity to find new positions?
Well, they're certainly going to be open to it, aren't they? Let's be honest. If you're at home and you can't work for your organisation, seduced and romanced by other recruiters or other companies directly, I think certainly, I've got staff on furlough and of course I want them back, etc. And I don't want them talking to anyone else. Would I begrudge and talk to someone else? Maybe I wouldn't. I couldn't stop them because I think in these uncertain times, they're going to be more open to it. They're going to have more time. So I think that's going to be very prevalent in the market. Yeah. Anyone that's on furlough, I think would be foolish not to consider what's out there in the market, and if they're working for the best company, and are they, actually looking at what the best options are. As I said, as an employer myself, I don't want to say that because I want to keep my staff to myself, but I think it'd be foolish not to. So I think there'll be a lot of candidates out there that would think this is an opportunity to look at the market and consider my options, and would be open to it. And I said, not encouraged to do it, but they certainly be open to it, because there's going to be a shift. I think we'll see, as soon as we come out of this, you'll see a lot of transition with companies and candidates trying to nick and gain market share. There'll be a lot of companies actually thinking this is an ideal opportunity, and a lot of companies panicking.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the thing is, you do have to look at the opportunity and things, don't you? And so what we've with our recruitment serum, we've just opened it up for everyone. On the May 6th, we're closing it off. But everyone's not closing it off, but we're activating these licenses. And I think, and then also we're looking at reseller programs and stuff, because I think that's all you can do at this stage. Is like, how can I maximize the situation I'm in? How have you found your team have adjusted to this whole was you quite an agile team, work from home a lot or not?
No, honestly, I tell you, we recruited the tech market, we had the tools, and we had we weren't quite ready for it. We have started to adjust now. Obviously, we're doing daily Zoom calls and we've got agile working, but it's still a change in mindset, I think. Guys and girls have adjusted pretty well. There is definitely a mind shift of actually how to work now, in terms of actually using the collaboration tools, interviewing over the platforms, etc. So yeah, I think they've adjusted quite well.
And how do you feel like productivity's up, down, same?
Good question. I think from a management capability, we weren't sure how to monitor productivity. So I would say potentially it's down, and it's not a will issue. It's more about actually adjusting to the market and actually what we're doing. And I think for us, it's adjusting to a new way of working. For me, recruiters are very much used to getting on the phone and hustling for deals and hustling for decision makers and giving a call back and asking for callback. That is not the way to do business at the moment. What's more interesting is having conversations like we had now. Actually, we're interested in a conversation. We've got some insights. I think we need to book a video call, or if you want a call, but I prefer a video call now to discuss. We could do it on Thursday, and I've got an open diary. So instead of actually just hustling on the phone and loads of dials, actually being a bit more strategic and saying, do you know what? Thursday between 2 and 5:30, I'm going to book 4 client calls and meetings for 45 minutes and do them back to back. So being a bit more organised. Now, for the recruiters out there that aren't organised, this is going to be a real struggle because they're used to hustling. But this is going to be where maybe someone a bit more strategic will think, actually, Thursday I'm going to do my client development calls, and I'm going to have a bit more considered. We've got 4 people on this platform now. Normally, Antonio, it would have been a phone call from you or a message from you, and then we'd have had a quick chat. It wouldn't be that. So we've got to schedule in these things more to be more interesting, and so it's not so dull for the actual user.
Well, if you think about everyone's at home right now, and we were saying yesterday, Neil was saying, and Kev was saying that, even from this equalizer, isn't it? Because like Madonna's posting fucking videos of her typewriting. Do you know what I mean? That's not interesting. But that's not interesting. So from a broadcast point of view, create stuff like this, doing live streams like this. Everyone's at home. You've got a captive audience. So if you're creating content that's around, just talking to customers or talking to potential clients around the technology disciplines or whatever, just having a chat. It doesn't have to be anything serious. Do you know what I mean? It's not a big formal interview. People will watch that. They'll tune in because they've got nothing else to do at this moment. Or even if they're working, they still put it on in the background. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely bang on. If I'm here from 8:30 to 5:30, and I said to my guys, there's no point calling me. There's no point calling me because I'm either on a video call or I'm trying to get over the video call or I'm tempted to log on to a video call. So there's no point calling. You're going to have to engage and you're going to have to nurture that opportunity. You're going to have to nurture it, make sure you book it, make it very easy for them to get on the platform. And like you said, just have a chat of what's going on. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's still trying to think of ways to prospect and ways to get hold of opportunities, ways to get hold of vacancies, ways to get their candidates on interviews, etc. So we're all on the same platform. But what's more interesting is if you're doing the same methods you did before, and hopefully you're not that hustling recruiter just calling people, that isn't going to cut it at the moment, because at the moment is everyone's at home trying to book Zoom meetings with their own clients and their own staff for either it being well-being or just an update from what they're going on. You know, no one's taking cold calls, selling from anyone, talking about HMI software or whatever it is to try and do a new product. Forget that. Don't even bother.
Don't even bother. That's it. I think, and I think also a lot of this time is about like it's actually how much you're supporting the communities as well, isn't it? You know, how much you're supporting, you know, even with, if it is content, or how much value you're bringing, because you know, I think people are starting to accept it now. In my mind, I think people are starting to accept where they're at, but at the same time, the past 3 weeks it's been a fucking whirlwind for everyone. Do you think? So we were doing bets on when we think we're going to be out of this, right? What are you thinking in terms of when we're going to be out of this? Like really out of it? I mean, back to work and all that.
I'm probably not going to be popular for saying this. I think it's going to be months and months. I really think that we won't probably be in the office until July, which I know everyone's sort of saying lockdown for 3 or 4 weeks from May. I'd love it to see it before, by the way. Believe me, I really would. But I don't think we'll be in the office before July. I don't think we'll really be even back to normality in terms of actually engaging in proper interviews until September, October, November. I just can't see it.
When do you think the pubs will be open? That's Mark. I need you to get your crystal ball out.
I'm hoping the sunrise, Tony. You can take me out for a gig. I'm missing that. Believe me, I'm missing that. So I'm hoping. I can't see before June, July. I really want it to be, in May and May bank holiday, and I just can't see it. Can't see it.
Well, Kevin,
which is scary, I know, but I think it's going to happen.
Well, Kevin up here he's from the Philippines. Well, he's not from the Philippines. He works in the Philippines, and he's what that you've just announced today, Kev. They've just announced today, right? The further lockdowns, right?
Yeah. So we've been on 4 weeks so far. They've just announced another 3 weeks to May.
Oh, geez,
and that's just crazy. It's like 7 weeks that will take us up to, and I can't see them not extending it again, because it's the unknown of the second wave, because the virus doesn't just go away; it still will be there, and it's how we immunise and we control the spread of that again for the second wave. So we're going to be interested to see as China start releasing their I almost said staff then, their residents back into the environment, and see if they get a second wave. You've already got countries like Singapore really concerned about the second wave as well. So it's good. I think we're going to have to take a lot of guidance from other countries. But yeah, we've been shut down another 3 weeks. Mark, I've actually got a couple of points for you to get your opinions on, actually. First one is, let's take a candidate that is now seen that he can work from home.
Yes.
How do you think that will translate when we go back into the workforce and people are then asked to come into the office? How are they going to be feeling about, well, actually, I can work from home, I can perform from home? Do you think we're going to see an impact of the working from home stream?
It's a great question. I think Agile IT will become very much prevalent now amongst organisations. I think they won't want to get in a position like this again, where suddenly they're scrambling around for laptops, they're scrambling around for work from positions. So I think it will do. I still think, though, as we're very social, people do want to work in the office. I'm missing the banter in the office. I'm missing the collaboration in the office. I'm missing the team meeting in the office. I'm certainly not loving working from home. So I do think it will be Agile IT was almost like, yes, we can work from home if we need to. Yes, we can work from the office. Yes, we can work from the client side. I do think that will happen a lot now. I do think, I've been speaking to my clients where I'm saying, look, I really want to partner with you to understand the culture. Even if I'm not working on your roles or on your jobs, I can still work from your premises once a month. and understand the culture and absorb the culture and still do it. So I think Agile IT, I think most consultants in our industry now will be Agile IT. So they'll work from home, they'll work from the office, they'll work from client site, and there'll be no barriers. But
so you think that everyone will buy into that Agile sort of movement of people and working from home when they can and being in the office when they need to be? The other point I've got for you is the economics of recruiting, right? So do you think the economics of the time, now everyone's used to using technology like we are now, do you think the time to hire people, the speed at which we can transition and onboard people, do you reckon that's going to have a massive impact financially on businesses and recruitment?
In terms of time to hire, it'll be slower, or time to hire, it'll be faster?
That's my question. What do you think?
I think it will be. I actually think it'll be faster. You know, the craft of recruitment, the skill of recruitment. Good recruiters are amazing influencers. They can influence someone to get on a call. You know, Antonio, he got me on this call straight away. Didn't take a lot.
Yeah.
Someone else might be emailing me like, nah, I'm not interested. So the craft of recruitment won't change. Can I influence that person to come on the phone? Can I influence him to come on video? Can I influence him to the hiring table? Can I influence him to consider an offer? That skill is the craft. If you haven't got that, it doesn't matter if it's Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, or something else. You know, you'll be no good in this job. So if I can't influence you to get on this platform, or I can't influence you to get on the hiring table, or I can't influence you to turn up, it won't make a difference. I think it'll probably speed up, because the talent shortage is still there. But can I get hold of them quicker via video? Yeah. Antonio got hold of me pretty quick. Yeah. You know, if I actually had to meet him in his office in 2 weeks' time in wherever it was, Bethnal Green, I can't remember where it was now. It might have been difficult, but it might have been 2 weeks. It might have been 24 hours. So yeah, the speed of hire will to me.
So are you saying those that don't engage with platforms like this when we go back to the normal or whatever that is, they're going to be in a weaker position to attract talent than anyone else?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not giving self-promotion to us, but our own website, we've got a video platform that any of us use to send it. I can do that at speed from someone living in Yorkshire, instead of getting him on the phone and trying to get him to turn up to a meeting in London when he might not be able to down there for a week. I can video him, send it to the client, and then he can turn up and say, right, I'll do the second interview. I'll go up to Yorkshire and see him for the second interview. Yeah. Speed
and also the preparation. I think what this has done, Mark, is actually it's made people more used to communicating on these platforms. I know obviously a lot of people did and whatnot, but even now, if you think about it, we're chatting to our brothers, our sisters, our mums, our dads on big Skype calls, big Zoom calls, big.
Microsoft Teams, absolutely.
And so, and we're getting pissed with them. We're getting pissed. We're actually getting pissed with our family online. Do you know what I mean? It's madness, and so I think that is actually doing a really good thing for us and the people who are forward thinking in the recruitment industry, because it means that they're used to now being in platforms for this time. Whilst it's a ball ache, but at the same time there is still solutions, which means that you don't need to stop everything.
Well, I think we say it's a ball ache because maybe we're restricted. Because we can't go there. But to me, this is great. I can see you four guys. I could sit here at 5 o'clock, have a beer with you. I could go over a roll with you with my clients. I could actually get the client on the phone call, Antonio, and Neil was the candidate, and get you speaking together and host it live.
Yeah.
I can get instant feedback from you, actually. And do you want to go for a second interview? Yes, I would. Great. Antonio, can you speak next week? You can actually... I actually think it's going to speed it up.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a lot more client and candidate control that way as well.
Yeah.
How do you think the economics of it will be affected? Do you think recruiters, etc., will see their percentages on contingencies, their retainers reduce because they're going to be using these speed ups? Unless
that's a good point, actually. That's a good question.
Again, I don't think so. I think talent is at a premium still. So I think what I do think is what will happen the same as in 2008. People will see recruitment now as a very tough job. No one really wants to be loving recruitment at the moment. No one wants to start recruitment and think, this is the brilliant job. There was a mass exodus in 2008, 2009. Thousands of people left our industry because it was suddenly a tough job. There wasn't jobs flowing like a river coming in. It was hard to get jobs. What happened is now you'll see the real craft of recruitment, the really ones, the good recruiters will come to the top now, who can actually influence people to get them on the platform, influence candidates to get them on the platform, and actually broker deals. That is the craft. If you're not good at that, if you're just a glorified resource to sending CVs and hoping that it's a perfect candidate, you're going to be excuse my French, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah. I agree. That's a great point. So I think in terms of everything's a level, and I think all the people who are just in recruitment and they were able to hide behind the big top billers, they're not going to be able to hide now, because it's like because you are, although you're away from the office, there's more of an observation of you, because you're like, your team, Mark, you're probably looking at people going, they're looking at their analytics, looking at their data, looking at what they're performing, because you don't want them. It's not that they are slacking, but you don't. They're at home. You can't. So I think also management is going to be a very different thing as well, because we are going to have to give autonomy, but also there needs to be an ability to properly track. How are you combating tracking and measurements of your teams at home? Because you need to measure success, right?
Yeah, and it's a good question. I've always been very outcome based. When I was managed many years ago, 21 years ago now, when I worked for someone, I'm not interested in how many call stats you've done. I'm not interested in how much talk time you've done. I'm not interested in how many contingent role files you've profiled. What I'm interested in is one stat. How many people have you got to the hiring table? That's it.
Yeah.
If you can't influence that, you can give me lip service all day. I'm speaking to him, I'm speaking to him, I'm speaking to him, I'm speaking to him. That means nothing. How many people have you influenced to the hiring table, or the video platform table now, as we'll call it? If you can't do that, what are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's say so performance management then. So the people aren't managing, aren't doing what they should be. How are you managing performance at the moment? How are you coaching people?
Well, exactly what we're doing now. Getting them on the our own Agile platform and saying, look, how you engage with people, making sure that you're actually booking people in diaries, booking different conversations with the takers, not just about vacancies. No one wants to talk about that. So actually, what's going on, the plans are actually doing. So when we are coming out the market, or they are thinking about actually hiring, they're the first that you hear of. Also, as well, educate them on our own platform. There's so many companies that we'll deal with where, in the best will of the world, have I educated every client that we've got on our services? No, probably not. And this is an ideal time now to actually really talk through our offering, how we can add value, how I can share CVs on this platform with you now. I can actually video this new platform now. Would that help? How can we suggest to actually demonstrate it live for them? That's what they should be doing. If they are articulating that over the phone, you can't convey that message. Hopefully I can convey a message over to you via this video. You can see my actions rather than just me just rambling on the phone at you and trying to say to you, this is what you should be doing. People should be booking meetings with people, decision makers, via video, or if you prefer call, that's your. But accept the call. No one's going to be doing that, even if they're at home. They're either going to be on a video call or watching Netflix and just visiting you.
Yeah. What is, I think clients are able to now see people's emotions, and they're able to, because I think we would like people, when it's easy to hang up on someone on the phone, but if they're emotive, they're chatting away, they're using their hands, they're smiling, you're like, actually, I'll give this person a little bit of a shot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not cutting me off now, see? I said that. No, you're not cutting me off.
Exactly. No, I think it's interesting, and I really like the optimism, Mark. Where's that coming from? Negative energy out there at the moment. Where's the optimism coming from?
That's because people aren't going to just be unemployed for 6-8 months and just not do anything. The best new business hunter, an unemployed person that's got to pay his mortgage. They'll be like a bloodhound searching for roles out there. Yeah. So people are going on interviews. People are going to be hiring. People are going to be adapting. People are really thinking, actually, I will look at home workers. If you've got a sales guy in the company, or if I had a recruiter for another competitor, and he comes after me after furlough and says, Mark, I was doing 150, 200 grand GP, I'd like to work from home and etc. Would I have a conversation? Damn right I would. Damn right I would have a conversation with them. And I'd love to get them into our business. So, people, the wheels will start spinning. UK PLC will get up and fight again, and we'll slowly come out of it. And there'll be a lot, I'm very optimistic because I'm excited about what's going to happen. I can see that it's going to be a real turning point for us, and we're going to grab loads of market share. So, yeah, I'm really excited about it.
You know what? Literally, I have these conversations with everyone, all the guys here. I'm super excited too for our technology, because we can see a huge turning point as well. Because we have to adapt to the times. You can't. I don't think business is going to be the same as it was before. You have to change strategies and all that sort of stuff. And doing stuff like this, value add, is great, amazing. But what do you think about the temp market? Do you think the temp market is going to take prevalence in the coming years? Because I personally do. Just put it out there.
Yeah, I actually do. R35 or whatever it is. I'm not massively into temps, to be fair, or contractors, but I do think it'll become more prevalent. I do think customers will be slightly more cautious. I think there'll be a lot of employees out there realizing that there was a candidate market the last 10 years. If you were any good, you were being seduced all the time.
Yeah.
Now
it's interesting how it changes, isn't it? It's fucking mad.
Yeah, we're going to see a if the employer a bit more choice, and he's going to be a bit more wary, and he's not going to take a massive office, and he's going to have a bit more agile IT and a bit more remote working, and he is going to try a bit more try before you buy, especially, and unfortunately it is for those guys, especially for people that aren't working.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do think that, obviously we're talking, because obviously where we operate, or you operate, more, say, the people, non-skilled workers in, deliveries, even the non-skilled workers for the NHS, they're screaming out for them at the moment. I was speaking to someone the other day, and she interviewed someone on FaceTime, and they offered her a job to start in an hour, as a cleaner in the NHS. So, yeah. Obviously, I do think that that's going to be massive, and I would love to be optimistic and say we're going to be out of this by June, end of June. I don't think it's going to be happening. I think it's more sort of. I think we'll be in this for September. To be honest, I think December. To be honest, and right through. Yeah. I do think that we're going to go right through. So I think as you've probably seen, the changes in, or the advancements in the past 3 weeks. It's just each week is a different story, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Everyone's just trying to adapt to what's going on. I do think that now we're going to start seeing just a sort of more even kill, and I think people will start hiring again. But again, temp stuff, I think also it will be more around, there'll be a lot more people going into doing the non-skilled working, because I think we're still going to be, if you take what the markets are saying, I don't know how much you're following, but if you take what people are saying, we're still not even at the tip of or the bottom of the recession at the moment. So what do you think about that?
No, we're nowhere near it. Yeah, no. I think there'll be a lot of companies adjusting their go-to-market strategies. I think there'll be a lot of recruitment companies adjusting what they actually specialise in. Suddenly, actually doing, IT technical, and suddenly if someone wants to talk about an administrator, maybe they might start doing so. I think a lot of people adjust their market.
Logistics, mate. Get into fucking logistics. You'll be laughing. Do you know what I mean? I can actually imagine that all of those. I can imagine all the chat since the start of this with one of my mates who runs a locum, healthcare recruitment firm. But he was literally, off his feet. Had to hire some people into his business as well, like for workers and whatnot. But yeah, it's super interesting. So, do you think that? What's your bet then? Because I'm going to add this to the chart of every interview that we do. We're adding a chart of who's going to bet on who gets the closest to the date that we get out of this. What's your bet?
Get out of it as in we'll get back in the office, or get out of it in terms of actually normality.
So I'm saying when the pub's open, because that's
that's a normality, is it? I think the pubs won't open until do you know what? I'm going to say 1st of August.
1st of August. I hope so. And if it is, Mark, I'm gonna take you for. Well, I'm sure you'll be going on a big smash up anyway yourself. But my
I would have a week of holidays going down to the pub, like one pub to pub every day.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like though? You're just going to be hugging random people, aren't you? You know, there's going to be no fights. You know, people are going to be just loving each other.
No fight. It'd be like England winning the World Cup, but 2 meters apart. Everyone.
Yeah. Do you think they'll still have social distancing happening? Do you know what I mean? You still be, because you'll be so inclined with it.
I think people will just be very cautious still. You know, I'm not being funny. They're not, when they do open the pubs or the restaurants and the bars, etc. Say it is August the 1st. I think you'll see that. I just don't think you'll see it. I think there'll be a lot of caution right to the end of the year. You know,
I was saying,
you know, of course you get a family, etc., and your friends, but you know,